Okay, welcome to realization video, I should say, about uh, the need for investment. So first of all, I have an anecdote for you. One night, your phone rings, and you have to forgive me for this because I'm a '90s kid, and this is how our phones looked like when I was young. And the person on the other side of the phone said, "Hey, I'm going to give you 1,440 US dollars per day." So today, December 28, 2019, that's about 73,000 pesos a day. And these are the conditions, okay? You can't transfer it, give it to another. You have to use everything up. At the end of the day, the account should have zero balance. And if at the end of the day, it has at least one centavo in it, the giving stops. So you really have to use everything up. And if it has zero balance, if it doesn't have any balance at all, then I'll give you another $1,440 given next day, same rules. Now, my question is, what will you do with that kind of an arrangement? What will you buy? Okay, think for a moment. If you need to stop this video, please write down the things that you will buy with that amount of money. Of course, you can't buy a car right at 70,000 a day, right? So maybe you can have some arrangement for that. That just be a really realistic guys, and I'll come up with an answer. Okay, that anecdote is really a question of time. It's a lesson on time. The most extravagant of all expenses is the wastage of time. Time is either spent or invested. What did you buy with that amount of money, about 73,000 pesos a day? If you said that you're going to feed your friends, which I get a lot, in most of my classes, I will feed the whole barangay. Pakainin ko yung mga friends ko. I would travel around the world. If you bought, all those things, what would happen? It's like asking yourself, what if you win the 450 million peso 658 jackpot? I don't know what the amount of jackpot today, but when I wrote this PowerPoint back then, the 658 jackpot in Lotto is about 450 million, right? And there's always uh, stories about uh, people winning the jackpot ending poorer than they were before they hit the jackpot. So what's wrong, right? So let me answer those questions in the next couple of slides. When you are young, just like this little girl, you have all the time in the world, you have all the energy in the world. You don't have money, but you're so happy, and you're running around catching butterflies. I don't know what you've been doing, what you were doing when you were young. And I'd like to put it in some sort of a matrix of my so-called human life stages. As a child, you have all the energy in the world. You don't have money. You have all the time in the world. As a student, a young student, you have lesser energy. You have so many assignments. You have so little time. You have no money. You have little money. You have more money than when you were as a child because you can ask for your parents. You can, do part-time work. As an executive, as a worker, as an employee, you have no energy with the time you come back from work, especially with all the traffic around, right? Uh, you have so little energy left, and all you ever do at home is just to eat, maybe just be a couch potato and watch some Netflix or TV shows. You have a lot of money, but you don't have a lot of time. Usually, your time is just spent. lazying around, or maybe just some Sunday trips with your loved ones, right? But when you become a retiree, suddenly you have all the time in the world, you have all the money in the world, but then you don't have the energy anymore. So what does this mean to you? For me, this human life stages only mean that you have to be able to retire early, right? To have all the time in the world when you still have the energy and you have the money in order to enjoy life as it is. But the problem is not a lot of people can do that. Back in my workplace, the retirement is at 55 because the CEO, the former CEO, and the chairman, George T, said that at 55 you can still really enjoy life and the fruits of your labors for so many years, which is I think a good thing. But not a lot of people can retire at 55, right? So a lot of people need to work even past 60 years old, so which is really a pity. So the point of recall is these are the variables for success. You should have energy, you should have money, you should have time. Okay, a lot of people may contradict me saying, no, I can be successful even without money. But let me not debate with people like those people who say that. Let's just put that debate, you know, in some other time. But let me add information with these variables of success because we need all the information. We are now in the age of information and we need a lot of information in order to be successful. Now is the time. Don't put off until tomorrow what you could have done yesterday. Start early in life. Time is the friend, time is not the enemy. But for other people, time becomes the friend. Now, let me go back to that story about uh, the anecdote about getting 1,440 US dollars a day. If you think about it, oh, by the way, after 3 days, what if this same guy or the voice from the other side of the phone, calls you again and you hear the same voice and this time he's saying, you know what, I made a mistake. It's not you, it's your neighbor or somebody else. And it's either you will have to return all the money or guess what, just keep the money, but tomorrow there will be no money anymore. It's going in your bank. What would you do? What would you feel, right? If you have been living like a king or very kingly, that you're running around, going around giving money to everyone, what would you feel, right? And for most people, especially those people who won the lottery, this has been their predicament. They lose their money because the money is not infinite. One day you would run out of money, especially if you're not earning from what you have, right now. So that is really the question about prioritization. What would you be spending with the kind of money that you have? Come to think of it, we also have 1,440, but it's not US dollars. You have 1,440 minutes a day. 24 times 60 is 1,440, and just like the anecdote that I gave you, you cannot transfer time. You cannot give it to another. You have to use everything up. At the end of the day, you will have zero balance. You don't have time anymore. And if God is or the universe is kind to you and is mindful about the kind of work that you have, the kind of life that you have, maybe tomorrow you'll have another 1,440 minutes, but if if suddenly time stops for you and you end up dead, what would you have accumulated if you did not invest well in your time? Time is really something that you will not have for a long time, and that's a pun, really. And as the slide here said, time is either spent or invested. You really have to invest in time. Okay, so If you're 20 years old now, of course you're not 20 years old now, most of you are not, and you have saved only 1 peso a day since the day you were born, which is impossible, but this is really just an hypothetical event. How much will you have today if you save 1 peso every day? The answer is 7,300 pesos, and it's not a lot, right? You can't live on 7,300 pesos, and you have been saving for 20 years of your life. But if we award an interest rate of 10% per annum, it compounds annually, then it triples to 20,905. And what happens if you raise the 1 peso to 5 pesos a day? You will end up with 104,526.90 at 10% per annum. And this is equivalent only to 5 pesos a day or less than 2,000 a year. For a person earning 15,000 pesos a month, saving 10 pesos, 10% of your salary would amount to about 1,500 pesos a month or about 18,000 pesos a year. So if you do the same calculation, you would end up with 1,030,949.99. So I'm just saying, of course, it's impossible that to be able to save every day of your life for 20 years since the day you were born. Because how can you save at when you're a baby? But I'm just putting it as a hypothetical situation that the thing that you really have to do is to really save consistently. Okay, 5 pesos is really very simple if you think of it. You have 5 pesos lying around there, right? But if you, for example, put off saving 5 pesos today, and then I will just say, okay, tomorrow I'll give 10 pesos. By the time it reaches the end of the month, then it becomes 150 pesos, and it's not easy to get 150 pesos lying around. Just like what my daughter once said to me, when she was always getting 5 pesos from me every day. And then I said, why don't I just give you 100 pesos? And she said, if I ask you 100 pesos, then maybe tomorrow you won't give me 100 pesos, right? So, but if I ask you 5 pesos today, then you can easily give me 5 pesos. So, those are the kind of things, those are the kind of attitude that you need in life, consistently saving, at least every day. So, in summary, the greatest factors in building wealth is time, interest yield, and the amount of investment. But for me, the greatest factor in building wealth is really